Hello, I'm Ginger Easton Smith with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension in Aransas County, and I'm here to talk today about care and pruning of young citrus trees. So here we have a young tree that's been in the ground maybe a year or so, but the same would apply to a tree that was just planted. First we're going to check the overall health, and I can see right off that it looks pretty pale. It has a lot of new growth, which is great, but it's very pale. So it needs fertilizer, and also you see at the base of the plant, there's some weeds around it that are competing, even grass. So we want to pull that away. And also we want to make sure that it's not planted too deep. We want to just barely have the top root covered. So pull the soil away if it's too deep. Lots of times the plants will sink down over time. Pull the soil away, and then we're going to fertilize. And you could use kind of any fertilizer, but I like this one because it's pretty high in nitrogen. It's got some phosphorus, and then it's got quite a bit of potassium. And even though it says it's formulated for turf, it's got all these minor nutrients that citrus really like. So this is a great fertilizer to use for citrus. I'm going to take a handful, just spread it around like that. Not concentrating it at the trunk, but spreading it around where all the roots might be. Okay, then we would water that in lightly. We water it in so the nitrogen doesn't volatilize, and also so the nutrients move down into the soil. But we don't want to water real heavily, because then we might leach out the nitrogen. And then a great thing to do after you fertilize is to apply mulch. So put a ring of mulch around it. And keep it away from the trunk. Just like if a plant is planted too deeply, and the soil stays up against the trunk, it's going to rot it over time if the mulch is up against the trunk. And it's like a double whammy with mulch, because not only does it stay wet, hold moisture, but it also decomposes over time, and so that generates heat. So that's why it's a double whammy. So keep it off the trunk. Keep it a few inches off. Okay, so you're going to make your circle around the tree. Farther out you can spread it, the better. Make it about 2 to 3 inches deep. Okay, something else I noticed about this tree is that it has some signs of citrus leaf miner. This is a common insect on citrus. It's on almost every citrus tree. And it gets in between the layers of the leaf and goes in there and feeds inside the leaf, so it's hard to control. But there are some natural predators, and on a tree like this where there's only a few leaves that are affected, I'm just going to pluck these off. I'm not going to drop them on the ground though, because the insect is in there, like I said. I am going to dispose of these in the trash. Okay, so we're ready to prune now. Got a few different pruning tools here. If I was pruning big branches, I'd need something like this, or even a saw, but these are just small branches on this. Next thing to do is cut off the things that you know have to go. This tree has some really low branches down here. These are always going to be low. They are not going to grow up with the tree, because the tree only grows from the tip. So these branches are always going to be two inches off the ground. That's way too low. So we want to get rid of those. Okay, once you get rid of the things that you know have to go, you can see the tree a little better. What we're looking for is a single trunk with scaffold branches coming out around. This doesn't have a lot of side branches coming out, but when we prune it, it's going to stimulate it to put some more out. That has one here, has a really tight crotch angle, but it's possible that this could grow out with some little bit of training like this, that it will grow out into a scaffold branch. We've got another one here, we've got some here, another little leaf miner. Since we have these other branches, I'm going to take this one off. And you don't have to prune it all in one day. If you're not sure, you don't even have to prune it all in 1 month. You can prune it over several months or even a year. This is a little bit on the spindly side, so I'm going to cut the tip off just to encourage side branches to come out. So now with a good watering, this tree is going to really improve over the next few months. It's going to be nice and green with that fertilizer and hopefully produce some fruit next year.